All right, YouTube. I don't know how else to do this. So this is what it is. The Art of Stoicism. Right? It's this dude's channel. Ryan Holaday. I still don't know how to do a link, so guess what? Here you go, bitches. It's thinking. Hurry up, motherfucker. These people ain't got all day. All right.
I was only 19 years old when a single book altered the course of my life. I was then in the habit of asking people I admired a question. What is a book that changed your life? It's a simple question, but I wouldn't be watching this video if I hadn't asked it. What's a book that changed you, one that you'd recommend to your younger self? And so soon enough, I found Marcus Aurelius's Meditations in my hands. It was for me what the economist Tyler Cowen calls a quake book.
If you're a reader,
it shook my entire worldview.
Go get that fucking
and a single passage in it changed everything. In fact, the passage has changed the lives of many people in the 2,000 years since it was written. I've turned to it again and again when I dropped out of school, when I had problems at work, problems in my relationships, problems with employees, and just normal everyday life stuff. The passage goes like this.
Listen.
Our actions may be impeded, but there can be no impeding our intentions or dispositions because we can accommodate and adapt. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. And then Marcus Aurelius concludes with some of the most powerful words ever written. The impediment to action advances action, he says. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote that to himself likely on the battlefront as he led the Roman army against barbarian tribes, or possibly in the palace under almost unimaginable pressure. What Marcus was reminding himself is the core tenet of Stoicism. It doesn't really matter what happens, because in every situation, good or bad, we have incredible power, the power to choose how we respond. Stoicism as a philosophy is ultimately about action, an art that is designed to be practiced. And how does what stands in the way become the way? The story of John D. Rockefeller is illustrative. Before John D. Rockefeller became the richest person in modern history, he was just a kid making 50 cents a day as a bookkeeper and aspiring investor. 2 years into his first job, the Panic of 1857 struck, and it hit just as Rockefeller was starting to make some headway in his career. The top investors who supposedly knew what they were doing lost everything. His peers either complained about this violent economic disaster or left the business altogether. People were ruined, people were disillusioned. But Rockefeller didn't care. He didn't care that it was the greatest market depression in history.
Are you listening?
He didn't care about what everyone else was doing. He didn't care that people with more experience were telling him to find a new career. All he cared about was what was in his control. He could carefully observe the events that were unfolding. He could look for any opportunity to learn from this panic. He could consider it a baptism in the market. 20 years later, Rockefeller alone controlled 90% of the oil market. And he would say with gratitude how much he had benefited from the difficulties and the apprenticeship he had in those difficulties in those years when he decided to study and learn rather than turn tail and run. So how can we cultivate this?
Look, I don't know what you can see because I had to flip the fucking phone around from the iPad screen. You need to watch this shit. You really do. I can't preach it enough. I can't say it enough. Go get that book. The Teachings of Marcus Aurelius. Go get that fucking book. If you're a reader, if you're not, do like I do and watch this shit on YouTube. Knowledge is power. I don't know what else to say. Mad love and respect. Peace.